This is section 8.3. We're going to learn about multiplying what we call binomials. Binomials have two terms. To multiply binomials, you use the distributive property. This is really a pretty easy lesson because they're all things you already know how to do. You just have to practice a little bit. You have to remember how to multiply and distribute, and you have to remember how to combine like terms. So here it says multiply 2x plus 3 and 4x plus 1. So I'm going to do it on another page here. 2x plus 3 times 4x plus 1. Again, they're binomials because each of them have two terms. You see two terms in the first one, two terms in the second. Now, the way you do it is you focus on one term at a time and multiply it by the other. So I'm going to focus on the 2x. I'm going to really act as if the 3 right now isn't there. I'm just going to be looking at the 2x. And I'm going to take 2x times 4x and get 8x squared. Then I'm going to take 2x times 1 and get plus 2x. Now, if that was all it was, we'd be done with the problem. But it's a binomial. It was 2x plus 3. So that 3 is there. Now I want to focus in on the 3. I take the 3 and I multiply it by the 4x. 3 times 4x is 12x, positive 12x. And then 3 times 1, I get plus 3. Now, once you've done both terms in the binomial times both terms in the other, which is what we did, you're almost done. The next thing you have to do is you have to look for terms that are like terms. We have a 2x and a 12x that are like. This is an 8x squared. Remember, it has to have the same number of exponents in order to work. So 2x and 12x make 14x plus 3. Now we're done. Okay? That's the whole thing. So we go on to these examples. We have example A. It says 3x plus 4 times x plus 5. We're going to take 3x, multiply it by x, we get 3x squared. We're going to take 3x times positive 5, we get plus 15x. Now we're going to take the 4 and multiply by both. Everybody following along, doing okay, getting it? 4 times that is plus 4x. 4 times 5 is plus 20. Again, what you're usually going to find out most of the time, there are some exceptions. It depends if they're not in order. But if they're in order and they're in the standard form, the binomials are, most of the time it's going to be those two there that get combined, those two middle terms in there. But we get 3x squared plus 19x plus 20, and that's our final answer. It's in standard form. Nothing more can be combined. Okay? Now this next one, it has a negative on the outside, and if you notice, this one's not in the right order, so this is going to mess up which ones we combine. There'll still probably be some terms to combine, but we're going to do this one. One thing we're going to do here is I'm going to worry about that negative later. So that negative that's kind of hanging out in the front, I'm going to do that later. So I'm going to put on a parenthesis. But I'm going to take x squared times x, and I get x to the third. Then x squared times negative 9x squared, I get negative 9x to the fourth. Now I'm going to worry about the 3. 3 times x is plus 3x, and 3 times that is negative 27x squared. Okay, now the negative out in front, that's the next thing I'm going to do. But I don't want to do two things at once here, so I'll just wait. I'm going to take the negative. This becomes negative x to the third. This becomes positive 9x to the fourth. Notice that one was positive. Now it's negative. That one became positive. This one becomes negative. It was positive. This one's negative. It becomes positive. But I'm not quite done because they're not in the correct order. We always want to try to put the answers in standard form. So 9x to the fourth is the highest power. Minus minus x to the third plus 27 x squared minus 3x. Now those are both binomials times a binomial. The lesson's supposed to be on multiplying binomials, but the next one we actually have a binomial times a trinomial. I'm going to go to a new page just to make it a little bit easier. We have x minus 2, 5 plus 3x minus x squared. We don't have to make this difficult. What you have to remember, it's just the distributive property. Focus on one term at a time. So I'm going to focus on the x, and I'm going to multiply this x times all three of those. Then I'll worry about the negative 2 later. So if we take x times all three of those, we get 5x, we get plus 3x squared minus x to the third. Now I'm going to take the negative 2, multiply the negative 2 times all three things. We get negative 10 minus 6x plus 2x squared. The negative 2 is what you have to focus in on. It is a negative 2. So all these signs. This one was positive, positive, negative. Now it became negative, negative, positive. So now we try to put them in order. Negative x to the third is the highest power. 3x squared, we have a 2x squared. If we put those and combine them, we get 5x squared. It simply adds the coefficients, the numbers in front. 2 dogs plus 3 dogs make 5 dogs. It's the same thing, just got to have the same powers. Now 5 minus 6 is of course negative 1, x minus 10. So that became a 4 term. Now we go to D. Okay, let's have you try part D. See if we can do it on our own a little bit. Okay. If you got that step, great. Now you got to combine like terms, but also look from the largest to the smallest. Put them in descending order. 30x to the third is the largest. It's the only one with an x3. 35x squared, 12x squared. Now, if you need to, use your calculator, but it's a negative 35 and a positive 12. They cancel each other out. There are more negatives than positives, so negative 23x squared. 45x and negative 14x make negative 59x, and then a minus 18 tacked on to the end. Okay, next one. I'm going to erase this one because it's kind of spilled into the other one. So everybody got it? Again, there's a negative in front. When there's a negative in front, usually what I do is I worry about that at the end. So we're going to take 4x squared times 2x. We get 8x to the third minus 20x squared. Now we do the next one. Negative 2x plus 5. Now I'm going to get rid of that negative out in front. So this is negative 8x to the third plus 20x squared plus 2x minus 5. Simply just took off all the parentheses and multiplied the negative throughout. Now this one, we try to put it in order. It is actually in order. We got a third power, second power, first power, no power. So that one is actually done after we multiply. Sometimes you have to combine some terms. Didn't have to there. Okay, everybody, can we try F? I'll let you try that, and just in case people are finishing up. Last one that we're going to try in here for now. Simply putting them in order. 42x to the third is the highest power. We have 63 minus 6x squared. So 63 minus 6 is 57x squared. Then the last one is minus 9x.